We'll just expect.
Good afternoon.
I got it.
I hereby call this special meeting in Nacogdoches ISD Board of Trustees to order. Let the record show that a quorum is present and a notice of this meeting was posted as required by Texas Open Meeting Act. At this time, Ms. Mindy Winslow unable to attend. However, Dr. Groman will be a late arrival. Please remember the items that listed is not going to be on an order, and please, and thank you for joining us, and please turn your cell phone to silent mode. For public comment, we have not received anyone for public comment. However, those people are interested to make comment during the board meeting, the instructions are listed with the notice of meetings. Okay. Now we're in discussion and action agenda. We have two items on the discussion and action most portion of agenda. The first one is the consideration of joint resolution on public school finance and educational saving account, and Dr. Trujillo would present.
Yes, President Fashid and Board, this joint resolution on public school finance and educational savings account is something collaborative that is not just Nacogdoches, but it's a multitude of districts in the surrounding area that have come together to voice to provide our voice to Austin. That this resolution, if passed today by this board, then will go to print and will be delivered to each legislator in Austin, as well as our governor and lieutenant governor, to let them know where Nacogdoches stands in unison with the rest of our school districts here in East Texas. So with this, our recommendation is for the board to consider this, and we'll entertain any questions that the board may have regarding this resolution.
And Ms. Leah Beth App would read the resolution.
Before I start reading it, this is a resolution where we've joined with a lot of ISDs, and so I will apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce an ISD. The joint resolution of public school finances and educational savings accounts, whereas the current coordinated and deliberate attack on public school in the state of Texas has created a need for unity among independent school districts, and whereas the following independent school districts and Texas public charter schools representing over 71,000 East Texas students are working collectively to save public education for the next generation, those ISDs being ARP, Beckville, Big Sandy, Brodus, Brownsboro, Carlisle, Cayuga, Center, Central Heights, Sherino, Crossroads, Cumberland Academy, Cushing, Douglas, Elkhart, Elysian Fields, Excelsior, Fruitvale, Garrison, Gary, Hallsville, Harmony, Hawkins, Hemphill, Karnak, LaPointer, Livingston, Longview, Lufkin, Marshall, Martinsville, Mount Enterprise, Murchison, Nacogdoches, New Summerfield, Overton, Panola Charter, Pine Tree, Sabine, St. Augustine, Spring Hill, Tatum, Trinidad, Union Grove, Wascom, West Rusk, and White Oak. Whereas the Texas Constitution clearly charges the state legislature for providing the citizenry with a free, quality public education, and whereas Texas public schools have been historically underfunded and are currently funded 43rd lowest out of the 50 U.S. states, and whereas public schools in Texas produce learner outcomes that are consistently higher than the funding level, currently at 35th out of the 50 U.S. states, and whereas the higher than average levels of inflation since 2019 have led to deficit spending by many independent school districts and charter schools in order to continue fully funding the quality public education our communities demand. And whereas voucher schemes divert public funds to private entities, undermining the financial stability of public schools, and whereas such voucher programs disproportionately benefit students from affluent families, leaving behind students from lower income backgrounds and those with special needs, thereby exacerbating educational inequalities. And whereas research has shown that voucher programs do not result in improved academic outcomes for students, and whereas adequate funding will allow for smaller class sizes, expanded extracurricular opportunities, enhanced instructional resources, and diverse range of academic programs, and whereas public schools serve as the cornerstone of our democracy, fostering social integration and promoting civic responsibility. Now therefore be it resolved that the undersigned independent school districts are united in calling on Texas legislatures to fully fund public schools at the national average per pupil by increasing state-weighted funding per pupil to $14,347 as a minimum standard. And be it also resolved that the Coalition of Independent School District Board Trustees are calling on legislatures to discuss, debate, and vote on public school funding separately from any voucher debate, funding, or legislation. Tying these two individual issues together is unfair to the 350,000 Texas teachers and the almost 5.5 million public school students who are being negatively impacted by these schemes. And be it further resolved that these united school boards urge the Texas legislature to reject any proposed legislation that would divert public funds through voucher schemes, as this undermines the financial stability of public schools and perpetuates education inequalities. And be it further resolved that once fully executed, copies of this joint resolution will be provided to Texas legislators, to Texas Education Agency, and other relevant stakeholders, appealing for their support in safeguarding the future of public education in our state for the next generation of Texans.
Thank you, Ms. Abt. Board, do you have any questions or any comment?
I just think this is a very clear message to the people in Austin that we as board members need to support the education of our students and our teachers, and I have no doubt that they need to hear what we have to say, and hopefully they will do what they need to be doing.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya. Anyone have any more comment or question?
I was just shocked, Dr. Trujillo, that none of the Tyler schools, the Tyler districts are listed.
Yes, sir. This resolution, according to what information I'm getting, is actually coming together in regions across the state.
Okay.
On November the 17th, Friday, November 17th, the same day the legislators came into session, this invitation first went out to maybe about 4 or 5 superintendents, and we were going to come together and meet here. And then it exploded into a number of school boards and superintendents, so much so that we met at the Nacogdoches County Courthouse Annex. And so some districts that are extremely north or extremely south weren't able to attend. We were trying to get it done before the session was over with. But my understanding is it's happening throughout the state, and I'm pleased to see our boards and our superintendents speaking on behalf of our teachers and our students across the state about this. So to your point, Reverend, absolutely, it's in different regions as far as pulling up. But for our region, it's about 60 to 70 superintendent and board members that have come together.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty good.
Very good.
Any more comments?
I would just like to say I'm disappointed. I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed that this discussion about vouchers is continually linked with parent choice. And many who think that they are supporting vouchers think that they are supporting parent choice. And I just want it on the record that we have parental choice now. A parent can choose what school their child goes to. And if that is a public school outside our district, they can still ask to be transferred over there, and that decision is up to the district if they have room. So this is misleading, and any who are interested in this debate need to read all the facts and get the background on it.
Thank you, Ms. Abt. All in favor? I need a motion.
Mr. President, I so move that we adopt this joint resolution, public school finances and educational savings accounts.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion moves on. Thank you. Okay, the next one is a consideration of employment shortage incentives. Mr. Michael Martin, Deputy Superintendent.
Thank you, President Norman, members of the board, Dr. Trujillo. As Nacogdoches ISD employees have been required to perform additional duties not contemplated at the initiation of the school year due to the onslaught of employee exodus in education resulting in teacher and staff shortages, and desire to recognize and continue to motivate hard work and commitment to the district, it is recommended that the board authorize the superintendent to issue a one-time district-wide incentive payment to all employees employed full-time or part-time by Nacogdoches ISD in the amount of $101.47 per employee to be issued with the December payroll. The administration, the budget impact there is going to be $112,000 to come out of general fund. The administration is recommending that the board authorize the superintendent to issue a one-time payment, district-wide incentive to individuals employed full-time or part-time by Nacogdoches ISD in the amount of $101.47 per employee to be issued in the December payroll. Board, we recognize that our employees have worked very hard and had to do some additional duties that may not be in their their line of work or their contract. So we'd like to recognize our folks and also to help us retain those employees to our district. Be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
I'm assuming that the $101 and change allows the employees to get the full $100.
Yes, sir, you are correct, Mr. Montoya.
Okay?
Good.
And again, I think, given the fact and given the events of over the past few years since the pandemic in our district, I think we have tried to do everything we can to support our teachers and our staff. And I feel very good about this. I wish we could give them $1,000. That would be fantastic. But however, the fact that they're getting $100 where other schools have not even gotten a raise, I think that shows our staff that our board is interested in keeping them and supporting them and making sure that they have a good environment to work in. So thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
My question would be, how did we come up with this number?
Well, the exact rationale, and this is where I want to dispel any concern. The parents, our teachers are going to say, well, wow, $100. That doesn't do much. But I want to make sure that we have to take in consideration in this season, our neighboring school districts, in appreciation for the work that the teachers do, they'll get a turkey. They'll get a ham that's delivered that they either come and pick up. Nacogdoches, we're not going to hand out turkeys and we're not going to hand out hams because I don't know what the diet is. And then we're left with a bunch of turkeys or a bunch of ham, a lot of ham, and then to come pick it up. So we've elected to allow our staff through this incentive to say thank you, for them to utilize this minimal amount to do and provide for what they need as an incentive to let them know we appreciate them, so that when they sit at their table in celebration with their family, it's much more than what a turkey would cost, much more than a ham. So it's just to let them know. What we didn't want is our folks around us getting that appreciation and that incentive, because that's an incentive, is to say we appreciate you. Come by the administration office, we've got a box truck full of turkey or a box truck full of ham, and this way they can do whatever they want. Tamales, they can do ham, they can do ribs, whatever they want to do as an incentive for us to say thank you. And the reason it's $101.47, to Mr. Montoya's point, is I worked with Ms. Bebrick to come up with something that that would give them the straight 100, so
Am I even on?
I think you are.
Okay. We still have to
No.
cover Medicare and workers' comp, and that's what that extra is. So once that's taken out of their check, then they'll have $100 even.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, I don't know, I'm a generous person, I just was hoping we could do better.
Oh, we will.
Well,
We will
and we have,
collectively.
and I think if we look at the history of what we've done as a board, I don't think that anybody can say that we haven't tried to assist our staff financially any way we have, and we've been really good with our funds and stuff, but I think that we need to make sure that people understand that we support our staff and that we want them to have the best that they can. It'd be nice to give them a lot more, but I think just the fact that they know that we're supporting them and knowing that we appreciate what they do, that's the biggest part for me, so.
President Fashid, if I may, to Reverend's point, he's absolutely correct. We would really hope that we would be evaluative of what our worth is. And matter of fact, we put a survey out to all of our district-wide, all employees, whether you're custodial, drivers of buses, classroom teachers. We asked them key questions, what can we do to improve? It was a general question, so you can imagine how much of a wide response we had. Overwhelmingly, the response we got from the staff is compensation and salary. It didn't matter where they were in that process. So we've started the process, we've evaluating some feedback and looking at what we need to do here in the near future. I was hopeful that we would not, and we just took care of this with the previous board action, that when we attached compensation and teachers' worth with vouchers, and neither is going to happen. Why? Because we did not pass the parent incentive allotment or the parent choice item, or the vouchers. They call it all kinds of names, but the key is that those are attached to each other. My hope is that with the surplus of revenue that we're sitting at the state level, the only entity in public works folks that are working at the public level, the only entity that did not receive any compensation was the educator, the teacher, and which touches every single life that's out there. So now it's going to be up to us, local, district, to figure out, okay, what can we look at? How can we evaluate to tell our teachers and in our community that our teachers are worth this? This one is just simply, as we're going into, going to the holiday season, rather than hand out turkeys and ham and all of that, is to let them know how much we thank them for this. And by the way, until most recently, this board, and I have to congratulate this board, this is the second year or third year we've done this? Second year. And prior to this, we did not never done a turkey, never done a ham, never done anything to incentivize and appreciate our folks. And collectively, this board is saying thank you with this. It's not what we would like it to be, but we also want to be very diligent with our funding and find out, okay, what can we do? And I appreciate Lisa for working the budget to figure out, okay, how can we adjust this? Do we have the funds there? And be able to do this. So thank you, Lisa, for doing that for our behalf of our teachers. And by the way, this goes to every employee across the district, so.
I share the same sentiment that Reverend Irvin had. However, I think somehow we hopefully get the point across that we do care, and the amount may not be significant, but our feeling toward their career, their responsibility is very sincere.
Coach Fox, with that being said, I move to authorize the superintendent to issue a one-time district-wide incentive payment of $101.47 to all the district employees.
A second?
All in favor, indicate saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, approved. Thank you, Board. I have a copy of that resolution that everybody needs to sign, and by that, and saying that, I seek a motion for adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
A second.
All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.